Putri, and I would like to explain to you about Chapter 10. Indian mathematics, or also known as Hindu mathematics, emerged in the 26th century before Christ and ended in the 14th century AD. Indian mathematics developed after Chinese mathematics and ended just before the advent of medieval European mathematics. Indian mathematics began with the emergence of a civilization located in the Indus River basin. This civilization is known as Valley Civilization. Dhea already has a great knowledge of mathematics. The number 0 was invented by ancient Indians, likewise the decimal system. Hindu mathematics or Indian mathematics is known as the Sulva Sutra or Court of First. This relates to the constructions of altars for worship and sacrificial ceremonies. The formula of the Sulva Sutra is empirical. In fact, it is said that Sulva Sutra may have been the influence behind the later development of Greek geometry. Everything that comes from Indian mathematics, the number 0, stands out the most. Then was born Vedanta mathematics that developed in India since the Iron Age. Around the 9th century before Christ, mathematicians named Satapatha Brahmin began to discover the approximations of the value it. And then between the 8th and 5th centuries before Christ, the Sulva Sutra gave geometrical writing using rational numbers, prime numbers, the rule of 3 and roots, cubics, namely by calculating the square root of 2 to part of 100,000, providing methods of calculating their area using a square arrangement, solving linear and quadratic equations, and developing Pythagorean triples algebraically, and providing numerical statements and proofs for the Pythagorean theorem. In the year 550, the Hindus discovered the number 0 and wrote the layout system for numbers. The Indian numeral or Agam Hindiya began with an empty space for number 0. This is evident from the position written in the Bible of the Indians. Indians mathematicians have long discovered the number 0, but there is no symbol for it. Then Aryabhata called the number 0 with the word ka. Aryabhata has included 0 in the calculation system, not just an empty space. The concept of 0 using an empty space is a tabular arrangement has been known and used in India from the 6th century. The oldest known manuscript using zeros is a Jain work from India entitled Lokavibhagava, dated 458. The definite use of the zero symbol by Indians was on the Gwalior stone tablet in 876. The document was printed on a copper plate with a small O inscribed on it. The Encyclopedia Britannica says Hindu literature proves that the number 0 may have been known before the birth of Christ, but no record is found with such a symbol ahead of the 9th century. The brilliant ideas of Indian mathematicians were further studied by Muslim and Arab mathematicians. This happened in the early stages when the mathematicians Al-Khawarizmi studied the Hindu Indians calculation system, which describes the place value system of numbers involving the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. The next one is Indian number system. After researching, the Indian numbering is only based on 10. Many symbols differ from 1 to 9 as opposed to the Babylonian-based 60 system, and the symbols took on the close form that is now used in 5th century Europe. The Indian numeral system is often referred to in West as the Hindu-Arabic system or simply Arabic numerals because it reached Europe via the Arabs. Meanwhile, today's modern numeral derived from symbol used by Indian Hindu mathematicians around 200 before Christ were later developed by the Arabs. Compared to the older numbers 1 to 9, the number 0 is the most recent number that appears. There are several figures found in India, namely, first there is Brahman numbers or Brahmi numbers. Now, Brahmi numbers date back to the 1st century before Christ and are still in use today. Brahmi comes from the numeral system on the first alphabet, as does Panini. The next one is Gupta numbers. Now, the Gupta period was during the Gupta dynasty ruled all the way to Magadha in northeast India. Starting from the early 4th century AD to the 6th century AD, the Gupta numerals were constructed from the Brahmi numerals, which were widely distributed by Gupta kingdoms. The next one is 3. Nagari number. Nagari number are often referred to by Al-Biruni as most numbers because many were sent into the Arab world. Nagari numbers are often also called Devanagari numbers. Indian numbers have spread to Europe by the end of the 5th century AD. The next one is C. Indian number system. An important feature in this system is that we can write numbers for any number, both large and small, and only use 10 symbols called digits 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. The word digits mean fingers or toes. Since only 10 symbols are used, the Hindu-Arabic numeration system is also known as the Theta numeral system. Another principle in this numeracy system is collections of 10, where 10-1 is replaced by 110 and 1010 is replaced by 100. 110 is replaced by 1000 and so on. The next one is D. History of 0. 0 has two functions that are equally important but different in several ways. The first function is an empty space identifying in the numeric system our position value. Around 1650 M, the use of 0 as a number has entered Indian mathematics. The Indians also use a place value system and 0 to denote an empty place. There is even evidence of vacant space buffers in numeric position from the early 200 AD in India, but some historians deny this because they are considered non-authentic. Around the year 500 AD, Aryabhata devised a number system that didn't yet have a 0. He used the word ka for the position and then used it to denote an empty place in a writing system. It's quite interesting when the same document sometimes use a dot to denote the unknown, which we usually use x. Later, Indian mathematics validate the 0 in the position of a number, but there was no symbol to represent it. Brahmagupta tried to give rules to arithmetic involving 0 and negative numbers in the 7th century. He explained that it determines the numbers, and if you subtract it yourself, then you get 0. He provides additional rules relating to 0 as follows. The sum of a 0 and a negative number is negative. The sum of a positive number and 0 is positive. The sum of 0 and 0 is 0, meaning the sum of zeros and negatives is negative. The sums of 0 and positive is positive. The sums of zeros and zeros is 0. The next one is Indian Mathematic figure. There is 9 figures. First Vanini, second Pingala, third Surya Siddhartha, fourth Aryabhata, fifth Brahmagupta, sixth Midophan, seventh Mahavira, eighth Bhaskara, and the last one is Srinivasa Ramanujan. The next one is F. Invention relating to mathematics in India. There is some. First, there is Sulba Sutra. The oldest records of Indian mathematicians contain appendices to religious texts that give simple rules for building altars of various shapes, such as squares, rectangles, and others. This appendix also provides a method for creating a circle by giving it a square of equal area, and contain an initial verbal explanations of the Pythagorean theorem. The next one is the Siddhartha Surya. Notes that introduce the trigonometric functions of sine, cosine, and inverse sines, and lay down the rules for determining the actual motions of positions of celestial bodies. The next one is there is Bestselling Manuscript. The Bestselling Manuscript is the earliest manuscript found hundreds of years ago. The Bestselling Manuscript is a manual rules and illustrated examples and their solutions, mainly about arithmetic and algebra, as well as some geometry and measurement. The text provides a lot of rules, statements followed by mathematical examples and signs and proofs. I think that's all that I can explain about Chapter 10, Hindu Mathematic Development. Please forgive me if I have a mistake in my explanations or in my pronunciation. I promise I will be better in the next chapter. See you in Chapter 11.